Hi everyone, it's Maureen Spell from spelloutloud.com and the Most Living Community. I had a problem recently and I thought I'd just share how I solved this, and I think that many of you might be able to relate. I had been using my kitchen table as my desk. It was a really long kitchen table, so I had cornered off a little area. Well, my stuff just kind of creeped over, and I got to the point where I didn't want anyone to be eating at the table because I was afraid they would spill or get food on my stuff. Well, that kind of defeats the purpose of having a kitchen table, doesn't it? So I knew I needed to have a workspace, but that my workspace needed to be in our eating area because I also homeschool my children. So I needed to be able to have a common area where we all were. Well, I was given a desk, and I knew it would work. So I kind of rearranged the furniture. But you guys, when I got it into the dining area, it was ugly. It was just really ugly, and it stood out, and I couldn't picture myself being productive and working at that desk. I know this sounds so trivial, but it's true. It was just ugly. So I kind of looked online for some desks that I might like, and of course, all of them were out of my price range because I don't know, I tend to gravitate to those that are like way expensive. So I knew that there had to be a solution. So I went to one of the most popular places to look up answers, YouTube, and I found that there's a paint that I could use on this desk where I didn't have to sand and I didn't have to prime it. And it would be good to go. So I was like all excited. I watched YouTube videos all evening long, learned the techniques to use this specific paint, and then I went online to the store and found out that they only sell to small boutiques. And guess what? The closest place to get this paint was over an hour away. So you know what? I'm like, you know what? I had already invested time. I knew that this paint would be a solution to my problem. You know what? I was just going to go for it. So the next day, I just loaded up the kids in the car, and we decided that we were going to have a fun outing. We did go drive a little over an hour to go pick up paint, but we decided to run a couple other errands, and we even found a cute little place to go hiking. We made a great family memories that day as well. So I came home, and of course I had to get started, and I went ahead and painted my desk, and took a couple days to get all the layers on and to get everything done. And you know what? I absolutely love the finished product. I love it. You know what? You might be saying, well, okay, that's great for you, Maureen. So what does this have to do with us? Well, okay, so my desk problem wasn't some monumental problem. But a lot of times we make goals or we have a problem and we want it solved. And we might go to the first step where we educate ourselves on what that solution might be. But sometimes we get stuck there. We get stuck in the education part and we don't move to the next step. Okay, well, the next step, in my instance, it was a little bit of an inconvenience to actually go get what I needed. Many times when we have a goal, you know what? It's not going to be easy. There's going to be things that are a little inconvenient and uncomfortable. Are we ready to embrace it with a good attitude? Are we ready to just go for it? I decided, you know what? We're going to do it. I'm just not going to let that stop me. We're going to do it. The next thing I learned, I did learn how to use the paint. So when we have a goal or we want to make a new level in our business, or we are trying to just hit that next threshold for some type of fitness goal, we've got to learn. Usually there's new skills we have to learn, and we have to untrain our mind with some bad habits. And it takes some learning from people who have either walked that path or know what they're talking about. And so finding good mentors, coaches, leaders to learn from is integral in moving forward. So I could have just had the paint and sitting there, but the next step was actually doing it. So I had to put away my perfectionism and just do it. I knew this was going to be my first project and it wasn't going to be perfect. But you know what? I also knew that this was a solution and an awesome solution for my problem. So I went for it. And you know what? I absolutely love how my desk turned out. When we're trying to go for goals or trying to make changes in our lives, we can't expect to be perfect. You know what? Just embrace those learning steps, those what we would think is little imperfections. They're not. Those are opportunities to learn and grow and keep honing in our skills and changing and moving forward in the right direction. So you can see this yellow desk. That would be my finished creation. I also ended up turning over a nightstand and a chair and a couple other projects. So the new skills I learned for this desk transfer over. A lot of times when we're making change in our lives with goals and things that we're striving for, the skills we learn don't just benefit us in one area. And when you learn a skill, that is like money in the bank for you because it's something you can always draw from because you have it. You've learned something new. You've grown. So I just wanted to share that with you just to encourage you to go for it. Don't get stuck in the information stage or don't get stuck with, something's an inconvenience. You know what? If you have a goal, I want to encourage you to go for it. Start moving. Take that one next step to reach that goal. I hope you'll join us over in our Facebook group on Most Living or sign up there for our newsletter. I'll be seeing you around.